Hello everyone, I am Goober from FactionFiles.com, and this is the second video tutorial in my series on creating a very basic level in Red Editor contained with Red Faction. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started by creating a room, a box, air box, which is 4 by 10 by 10. I'm going to build that. Now I'm just going to copy and paste this and move it up, separate it by 0.5 of a meter. Now I'm going to create a box, which is 3 high by 3 wide by 0.5. This is going to serve as our door. I'm just going to move that over to the side here. So now we have a room, which is separated by a doorway. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this over here and make a window. I'm going to stretch it to 2 meters high instead of 3 and align it with the top of the door over here on my front viewport. Then this is 8, so 3, 4. Now I centered that between the door frame and the wall here. Now I'm just going to go into texture mode, select faces, pick texture, and apply map. Alright, now we can get started on our trim to go around these doors. I'm just going to copy and paste my door, stretch it to 0.25, 3 high is fine. I'm going to go into front view. And now I'm going to bring down this top vertex here by 0.25 in vertex mode. I was selected by dragging a box over it. I'm going to then copy and paste it and rotate it a full 180 degrees in the front viewport, then move it in the front viewport over here. I'm going to copy and paste it again and rotate it 90 degrees in the top viewport, and in the front viewport move it over here. And then I'm going to grab this vertex over here and move it in. So now we have a door frame. As you can see, it's not showing up yet because it's still set to air. So I'm just going to select all 3 brushes. As you can see, all 3 have selected right here. And I'm going to change type to solid. Then I'm going to build. Now here's our door frame. I'm just going to, again, go select faces, apply map. I just like to do that periodically because it keeps the level looking really neat and tidy. Now I'm going to go to texture mode, and we're going to texture the trim for our door. Now I know I said that this video tutorial was going to be on basic brushwork only, but while I'm doing my basic brushwork, I do like to do some very basic texturing because it saves me a lot of time doing texturing in the long run. So I'm just going to go to Browse. I'm going to change the category to Supports. MTL Girder 03 is the texture that I used. I'm going to rotate it 6 times 15, so just hold R and rotate it in the top viewport, or in whatever viewport, it really doesn't matter because this is 2D because it's textures. I'm going to want to rotate this full 180 degrees because I want the inside of this, which is the way the slant is going, to be in the white and the outside to be in the black. And then I'm going to copy and paste that. I'm copy and pasting UV coordinates the same way you copy and paste a brush by Control-C, Control-V. Then I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Again, 6 times 15. Then I'm going to drag this down so the white again is on the inside. Copy, paste over here. And the top one should auto-align when I do this. Yep, it did. I'm going to select the bottom and top. Then I'm going to UV unwrap this, and I want to select the black part. I can't remember if I did that or not, so I'm just going to exit that, and I'm going to go to 16 pixels, move it down once, and that should be good. And I'm going to select the 2 sides, rotate 6, I'm going to do the same thing, except for these aren't aligned as well, so I'm going to move it up in 2 pixel increments, and here we go. Here is our door frame. Oh, that one didn't work. Okay, there we go. Alright, now we have our door frame. So I'm just going to copy and paste my door frame. Not all that. Copy and paste my door frame over into my window. Now I know this is not going to line up perfectly. That's okay, we can fix it. I'm going to go into front view, and I'm going to drag these vertices, which are the bottom of the door frame brushes, up. Then I'm going to inset them by 0.25. Now I'm going to select the top brush, but as you can see, when I try to select this, it selects the box. I'm just going to hit Q to lock that. As you can see, it can't select it anymore, so I can select this top one. I copy and paste it, rotate it 180 degrees in the top viewport, Then in front, I'm going to move it down to the bottom of the window. Okay, now these two, the top and bottom, are already UV unwrapped because our door was the same width as our window. These, however, are not. So instead of going into vertex mode and messing around with this, which I could do, but it's really never going to get perfect, I'm just going to do them again. It's only going to take a second. Don't bother really walking through this because I already did it once, and you saw how I did it. Oops. Apply. Paste. Okay, we're good. Now, these in here are also not aligned, so I'm just going to, this is 2/3 of the distance because the door was 3 and this is 2, so I'm just going to scale that to 0.66, and this one again to 0.66, and okay, and hit apply, and that scales them correctly. Alright, so now we have our door and our window frames UV unwrapped appropriately. And right about here, I'm just going to go ahead and save it. I'll save it as PDM basic map tutorial. Okay, now with that out of the way, we can go ahead and create our big room that's going to go off to the side here. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this. I'll unlock that so we can select it too. Then I'm going to copy and paste it over here, separate by 0.5 again, except on this one, I'm going to drag it down so that it's aligned with the edge there. Okay, now this is the right size, but I'm going to go ahead and extrude the top face. I'm just going to select the top face, I'm going to hit extrude, and I'm going to, my grid size was set to 0.5 when I extruded, so it's extruding by 0.5, so then I'm just going to bring it up to an extrusion of 2, and I believe 2 is the right distance. Let me just check my other map. Yep, it was 2. Okay, now I'm just going to, again, select faces, apply map, and here we go. Now we have our big room. So I'm just going to go ahead and the only reason I extruded that instead of stretching it was because later when we're doing texturing it's going to come in handy, because we're going to need to texture the top. We're going to need to texture this face differently than this face, and the only way to do that is by splitting it, or creating a new texture, but we're not going to go through that. I'm going to then copy and paste my door, bring it over here, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and align it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Alright, I centered that with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and stretch this to 2. I think that's the right distance. Just check this. Oops. Stretch 5. Are these 5? Yep, they are 5. Okay, it's the right distance. I am then going to... Nope, I'm not going to copy and paste that because I can save time doing texturing now. Oh, I forgot mine. That's alright, I'll just make a new one. 0.5 by 3 high by 5 deep. Move this into position here. Oh, and this will give me a chance to use the end of time tool and start of time. Okay, as you can see, we now have a door frame, but it is carving out of our door frame. Now you could get around this by making the door frame detail, but I would not recommend that, as detail breaks portaling and generally causes your performance to decrease, so only use it when it's absolutely necessary, which would be textures that have alpha on them, and glass and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start of time on my airbrush, then build. Now what this does, it's like layers if you've ever used Photoshop or any other graphics editing application. If the brush is start of time, that means the engine, when it's building the map, will build it first, and then it will build all of these brushes for the door, meaning that they will be inside of it instead of it cutting out of them. I'm going to just hit that, pick texture, and apply it to the bottom. So it'll only take a second. 6, and that should be aligned appropriately. Yeah, it is. Okay, now here's our door. I am then going to go ahead and copy and paste my door over to the other side. Now we have 2 doors. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the girders up top, which are, if I remember correctly, yes I do, okay. I'm going to copy and paste this brush right here. The only reason I'm not copy and pasting the big room is, as you can remember, it's got that split. I'm going to stretch it to 1.5 deep and 0.25 high. Is going to make the base for my girder. I'm going to bring this up to 0.5 above that. That'll work fine. I think it was 0.5 above that. Just make sure. 0.5, yeah, it is. Okay. And okay, I'm going to change that to solid, obviously, and I'm just going to move it out into the room. I'll just move it to the middle of the room just so I can work on it. And this is another instance where I'm going to go ahead and texture here. So I'm just going to grab this texture and 6, and then drag this over there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's going to need to be flipped horizontally. And that's fine. I'm going to copy and paste that over, and that works perfect. I'm going to rotate this 160, or not 160, 90. Then I'm going to drag this out so it covers the entire texture. There we go. Now I can copy and paste this to the top, even though if the player never sees this, you should be putting it invisible, but I'm just going to, for the sake of consistency, put that to the texture for now. I'm then going to copy and paste it up and move it down 0.25 so it meets with the ceiling. Now I'm going to join these by some grading, well, some trusses. So now I'm going to go to face mode, and I'm just going to hit create brush because Red, for some reason, really dumb, creates faces with 4 sides with a radius, and as you can see, if I go into stretch, these are not exact values. So I'm just going to go into vertex mode, grid align that, and as you can see, if I go into stretch now, they're exact values, and I can stretch them around as I please. So I'm just going to move that in 0.25, stretch it out to the length of my girder, and move it up there and down. And as you can see, this little box down here just turned red. This is because there's a hole right here. And if I just go rebuild with hole line checks and check for holes, as you can see, there are 2 holes. This is because Red does not like brushes with a 0 depth when they're not detailed. So I'm just going to check detail and build, and that gets rid of our holes. Now I'm going to go into texture mode, select my one side of my face. It should be in supports, I think. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm just going to select cross member 06. I'm going to UV unwrap this up. I'm just going to align it there so it looks good. That's fine. Copy, paste over to the other side. And as you can see, there is our trusses. Copy and paste this over to the other side, and now our girder is done. So now, I'm going to move this over here. This is how far away from the wall in my map? It's 1 away, so I'm going to then drag this up by 1. I'm going to copy and paste it. That looks about right. Do the same to the other side. 1, okay. And here are our girders for this room. Now, that we're done that, let's see, what should we move on to next? I think I'm going to do this big door over here. Okay. Just zoom back into my other map so I can see how big this is going to be. Is 4x6. Whoops. Not that. Okay. Now in brush mode, I'm going to select this again. As you can see, I keep copy and pasting that one because it's just a clean box that I can select very easily instead of creating a new brush, because frankly I find that annoying. I'm just going to make that 6, 4, that's fine. I'm going to center it with my big room out here. It's not centered, 0.25, that is centered. Okay, now this is as high as the initial split, or the first split on this room, as you can tell. It's going to be important. I'm then going to, I could do this by splitting, but I'm going to do it by extrusion just because I find it easier. So I'm going to stretch this down to 3, and I'm going to move it up, and as you can see, it's kind of a cutout in the wall here, and that's not how we want our door looking. So I'm going to go into face mode and select the top and bottom faces on this, set my grid size 2.5, and extrude. Now after I've done that, I'm going to select this brush, and as you can see, it's done that. I'm then going to hit I to invert my selection, and Q to lock everything. So as you can see, now the only thing in the map that I can select is my door frame, which is the way I want it. Now I'm going to go into my left viewport, and I'm going to select this and this, drag it over 0.5, this and this, drag it over by 0.5. Now we've got this nice shape for our door. I'm going to hit apply map on it. There's our door. Now if you really wanted to, you could just shove a door in there and leave it the way it is, but we don't want to do that. We want to make it look a bit fancy, so I'm going to go ahead and make a frame. But I think I'm going to texture the frame later because that's going to take a while. I might just do that between videos because it's fairly easy to do. It's just very time consuming. I'm just going to create a new brush. And I know I said a second ago that I don't usually use the create brush thing. I don't know why I chose to do that just then, but either way would work if you wanted to copy and paste that room. You just need to unlock it first. Height, that's fine. I'm going to drag that down in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and lock that brush while I'm at it, so now I have nothing to select. Create my solid brush, and build. Now I'm going to go in vertex mode, align that with that, and I'm going to go into face mode, extrude, and now we're going to rotate this in our top viewport, 90 degrees, and then align it with that. Extrude it over here, extrude it again, and rotate it 90 degrees again. Down here, so it's aligned up with that. Extrude, extrude again. That should be fine. I'm going to extrude the bottom, because I forgot to do that a second ago. Okay, that's fine. Now, this, if I just flash over here, it looks alright, but these corners are not exactly desirable. I'm just going to apply map. Not exactly desirable, so I'm going to go into vertex mode and drag that vertice, or that vertex and that vertex up 0.125, these two down 0.125, these two, that in 0.125, that in 1.25, or 0.125. I'm going to drag that over, just so everything looks uniform and nice. Now if I apply map again, alright. Now I'm going to leave that to texture later because I don't really feel like it now and it's going to take quite a while. Now I'm going to unlock all, I'm going to select this brush, I'm going to copy and paste it, then hit I and Q to lock everything else, so all I have is this one brush. I'm going to move it over and stretch it to, say, 0.75 wide. That should be fine, yeah. 4 high, 6 deep, so that it fits nicely in our door frame here. And that should be that. Alright. I could texture this door right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that for the texturing tutorial. All you need to know is that there is a door there. And I can texture that any way I like. Okay. Now with that out of the way, I'm going to move on to the staircase. So I'm just going to create... Okay. Copy and paste this down here. And 9.5, 13. Stretch this to 13. 9.5. These are just dimensions I'm taking from my other map. Feel free to use the same dimensions if you like. And I'm just going to drag that 0.5 away from the room, and I'm just going to leave it there for now. It's not going to be staying there, but before I can do anything, I need to make another door. So I'm going to copy and paste my door from here, rotate it 90 degrees, over here, 0.25, align it to the midpoint of this room. Okay, now I'm going to align this box to the edge of that. Now I'm going to copy and paste my rain brush. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this up here. I'm going to keep it attached. This is for texturing purposes, of course. If this was just a normal room that was going to have the same texture on all the walls, you would really want to just stretch it up to 8 instead of 4, but I'm just going to use 2 different brushes. I could have also extruded, but I just chose to do it this way. I'm going to copy and paste both of them. I'm going to stretch it to 3 wide by 6.5 deep. Move it here and align up the edge of the door. And I'm going to change this to solid. This is going to make the inset in our room. There are 1,000,001 ways to make this room. I just chose to do it this way. Okay, now here we go. We have where our staircase is going to go. And before I make the staircase, I'm going to go ahead and make where the staircase is going to be heading, because then the staircase is going to make a lot more sense. So I'm just going to go in my other map and see how high is this. It's 4 still. Okay. So I'm going to select, not that, I'm going to select this room and this room, and I'm going to copy and paste them, and I'm going to move them up, separate them in the left viewport or the front viewport by 0.5. Now we have these rooms above each other. These are going to need a door in between them, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the door at the entrance to our staircase. Align that with the middle, and move it up on the floor of those 2 rooms. Now, we have these 2 rooms up here with a door in the middle of them. Okay, now this is where our staircase is going to head to, and, well, before I do the staircase, I'm going to make the door for the staircase to exit from. Very easily align that with this like I just did, and there we go. That should be good. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start making my staircase. So I'm just going to select this bottom part of the pillar, copy and paste it, and I'm going to hit IQ again to change my selection to just this brush. And I'm going to stretch this to 0.5 deep. How wide should it be? 5 seems about right. 0.25, and I'm just going to leave that right there for now. Let me just flash back over my other map, see how I did this. Okay, yeah, this is how I did this. Alright, now, I'm just going to move this up a little bit. You don't actually know how high this is going to need to go yet, but that should be fine for now. I'm going to copy and paste it. Actually, I'm not going to copy and paste that. I'm going to texture it first, because this will make process a lot easier. So go into brush mode, select that, I'm going to apply map. Then I'm going to take the top face and I'm going to apply, where's that texture? Metal, floor, gray diamond 01. That's it. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to trim, filter by iron, because this was heavy iron. Apply that, and that's not the section of the texture I wanted, so I'm going to go ahead and select the right part of the texture. I'm just using UV Unwrap now, and drag these down. That's the section of the texture I wanted. That'll be fine for our trim. And considering you're never going to see these back faces, I'm going to set them to invisible. Going into effects, I'm just going to take down metal. And take this, You could also use any other invisible texture if you want, but in a map that's going to be primarily metal like this, I'm just going to go ahead and use metal. Now, we have one step that's done properly. I'm going to then copy and paste this in my left viewport. Move it down, take all three of them, make the same, down, there we go. Now these are 2.25 high. Should be fine. Actually, I think that's the right height and everything. Is it? Yeah, it's the right height and everything. That was lucky. Alright, I'm going to copy and paste these over, rotate them, and now I'm going to move them up so that they meet here. Yep. Okay, and I'm going to also move them in a bit, just to make these stairs look a bit fancy. Okay, now I'm going to take this top step, copy and paste it, and move this. Let's see how I want to do this. And I'll just leave it as one big brush. I'm going to go into face mode, I'm going to drag this over to there, down to here. Alright, now we have the floor, we still have this gap here, so I'm going to make another step and put that right there, and select this face, drag it out to there. Okay, so now this is done. I'm going to then hit this floor texture, select faces, pick texture, apply map, and just for the sake of making this look good, oh, it's already aligned. Okay, that should be fine. Alright, now we have our staircase primarily done, with the exception of this, and past this. I'm just going to drag that face out to there. Yeah, that's fine. And apply map again. Okay, now we have our staircase primarily done. But if I were to save this, create a pack file, and play this in game, which I'm going to do now. Here's our map. And I go up these stairs. As you can see, I'm bumping all along the way, and this does not make for very smooth gameplay. So we're going to want to fix this. Come out of game. And the way we fix this is using a face brush, which has an invisible texture on it. So I'm just going to copy and paste one of my girders, by Q again, to lock everything else. I'm going to keep that 0.5 away, and this was what, 5 wide, I think? And 1 high is fine. I'm going to alter the height after. Yeah, it's 5 wide. Okay, I'm going to bring this down to the floor, and go into my left viewport again. Now I'm going to drag the top 2 vertices of this up to meet the top step. And now we've got this girder texture stretched over it. I don't want the girder texture, I want an invisible one. So I'm going to go to Effects, Invisible, and select this, then hit Shift S to select all faces on that brush. It's also Shift D to select all faces on that brush with the same texture. And now we have an invisible texture on it. I'm going to go ahead and copy this face over to the other staircase also. And that works fine. Alright. Now once this is done, I just applied map because I like having everything aligned. And we have our staircase done. So I'm just going to apply map again and go in game and show you how it's changed. If we come out here into this room and we walk up the stairs, it's all smooth, because we're actually walking up the face, which is a ramp, instead of walking up the stairs. Now after that's done, I'm going to go ahead and create the holes that my jump pad, my lift, and my ladder are going to come up through. Even though I'm not going to do those yet, I'm going to leave the actually doing them for the tutorial on methods of transportation. But I'm going to make a box which is, what size is that? 3.75. Okay, 3.75 wide, 3.75 deep. I'm going to copy and paste this up here and to the corner. It should probably also be 0.5. Oh. I have both of them selected. Okay, I'm just going to delete one, select that, stretch to 0.5 high, and align it with the ground there. And now we have a hole right here in the floor. Now, as was the case a second ago, I'm just going to select all that and apply map. As was the case a second ago with our door frame, I'm going to make a trim frame to go around this. And to do this, I'm just going to copy and paste part of my door frame. And I'm going to move this over here, align it with that, and it's going to align perfectly. I'm going to stretch this there, stretch these out there, and align them with the wall. Now we've got this, and as it was with our door frame, these are not correctly aligned, so I'm just going to select all faces, apply map, and the two center ones, along with these two here. Whoops. Okay, these are going to go to that texture, and 16 up, so the dark spot. And there we go. Now this is already aligned with the exception of flipping it vertically so that the white side is on the inside again. I'm going to do that with the bottom. Flip it. Okay, and now I can do this other one, which is not correctly aligned. Rotate it 6 times 15. And drag this down to a 2 drag grid. There we go. Inside is white again. Copy. Paste, it's probably going to be messed up. Yeah, so I'm just going to bring it up one, down one, and that should be... is that right? No, that's still not right. I'm just going to do it again. Okay. And line it up with the white. Alright, now we have our trim done. Now, just because I know we're going to need to do this after anyway, I'm just going to copy and paste this and bring it down to the floor, because this is going to be where our lift sits. And I'm going to texture the bottom of this simply so I don't have to do it later. I'm going to go to floor metal, take walkway, and yeah, that'll be fine for now. We'll leave you unwrap that later. I'm then going to take this, just this, which is only our hole and the trim around it, copy and paste it over to this corner, because this hole here is going to be for our jump pad, and I'm going to again rotate it so that the trim faces the inside of the room. And are we going to need a hole in the floor? No, we're not. And I'm then going to drag it again over, okay, 2.25. Over here for a ladder, rotate it, and if I just build that, you're going to see it is far too big, so I'm going to hit I and Q again, and this is going to be stretched down to 2.25, so I'm just going to select this brush, 2.25, 2.25, and drag that up to there again. And simply so that I don't have to texture this again, I'm just going to go to Clip, Reverse Normals with clipping nodes, Cut Brush, and apparently that doesn't want to work. Great. Okay, so I'm just going to do the texturing again, I guess. Drag that in so it matches. And apply map. Apply map. Okay, these two. Bring that up. There we go. This one and this one. Flip vertically. Rotate 6. There we go. And rotate 6. And that's one too far. is fine. Now we have our hole for our ladder. I'm not actually going to put the ladder there yet. That'll be in the methods of transportation tutorial. Now that this is done, let's see, what other brushwork do we have to do? Well, besides the room outside, that should be it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the room outside. I'm just going to go into brush mode and select this bottom brush and this top brush, sure, why not, and drag these out here. And the size of this is going to be 6.5 by 6.5. I'm going to drag that up to there so it meets that. I think it meets that. Yes, it does. And move it out 0.5, and there is our room. Now, as always, I want something to join these, but in this case, they're going to be joined by the entire room, not just part of it. So I'm going to drag this out to the entire width and depth of the room. Select all, apply map, yeah, and 16 up. Okay, here we go. There's our trim around our room. And as always, we're going to need a door. So I'm just going to grab this door. I'm going to go well selecting that in front view, or in free look, so I'm just going to select it left. And I'm going to copy and paste that. Rotate it in front view, bring it over here. There we go, aligned, and that should be good. Am I going to want another one down bottom? Yes, I am. I'm just going to copy and paste that down to the bottom level, and now we have this room, which has two doors. And just for the sake of being neat, select all, apply map. Okay, here we go. Now, this room has something unique on the rest of the rooms in the map, in that it's got a gigantic hole for you to fall down. So, to make that gigantic hole, I'm going to select the bottom face here, and I'm going to extrude it by 1. This is for texturing purposes. Then, the other one, the other extrusion, is going to be 15. So I'm going to select, say, 2. 1. Okay. Extrude, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now it's down by 15. I'm going to just apply map, and everything should be good. Now there's our big hole. We're not going to be doing anything with the big hole yet, because that's going to come when we do the kill region and the texturing and lighting. So all that's left to do in this room, with the exception of the windows and the skybox, and the ladder, but that's going to be in a different tutorial, is to do the grading. So to do the grading, I'm going to use the same process that I used when I was doing the trim on the others. I'm just going to select and copy paste this, bring this over here, 0.25 away. Yeah, how wide is that supposed to be? It is 3 meters, so this is 3.75. Great. Now that should be good. Yep, 3 meters. So drag that in, 0.25, copy and paste it, and go rotate it 180 degrees. Bring it down here, copy and paste both of them. Oops. Both of them, do 180 degrees, align this with the wall, align this with that, vertex, drag down, vertex, drag up, and there is the outline for it. Now, as before, I'm going to go ahead and leave you unwrapping on these, but you've seen me do it about 6 times now, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Quick. correct. Line up. 16, drag up once. Alright. And that's fine. I think that's, yeah, that's right. Okay, now all I have left to do is, well, besides copy and pasting it, is making the grading. So I'm just going to copy and paste one of my girder, or my truss face brushes. IQ again to lock everything besides the brush I'm working on. I'm going to stretch this to 2.5 so that it fits nicely in the middle there. And move it down, align it here, and I'm going to bring it over so that it fits. Oh, that's not right. It's over to there. There, that's right. I'm going to just apply map on that, but I'm really going to go find another texture, and that looks good. Yeah, that's fine. Then I'm going to go into, I'm going to unlock everything, go into top view, select everything, or select all my my grid walkway brushes, move it down. Now we have another graded walkway. Okay, and well, let's see. All that's really left to do in this room is to do a window. So I guess I can go ahead and do that window now. I'm just going to copy and paste this bottom window. Going to get all the faces on it. And rotate. And copy paste. Yeah, that's good. Where is that line 2 in here? Yeah, that's right. And it is... That's about right. Alright, that's good. And there is going to be glass in these windows, but we'll look at doing the glass in another tutorial. I'm just going to select the two back faces and put a visible texture on them. And now, if I save, create a pack file, play it, this should be the basic brushwork in our map done. The lift's going to go there, jump pad right there, ladder right there. Out here, as you can see, there's a Hollow Mirrors effect out there now, but there's going to be a skybox. There's going to be a ladder here, kill region down there. And if I go out here, here's my staircase. I can go on my staircase. And up here, holes for all my transportation. There's going to be a teleporter right there. And we're not going to be able to do this, obviously, but if we fall down here, we're going to die. Like that. And that should do it for the brushwork. Okay, I guess in the next tutorial we'll move on to doing some... yeah, we'll do some portaling, because portaling is relatively simple and can be done really quickly. Alright, well, this is Goober from FactionFiles.com. Thanks for watching.